What is the situation with Ivan? When do you expect him back?
I don't know. It's day by day, and you know, it's day by day. So we'll see. And he's there's progress. That's all I can say right now. I mean, don't really know much, but hopefully Jaron will be out of the hospital soon, and hopefully Ivan will be back soon. But obviously, our thoughts first and foremost with Jaron.
Are you fortunate to have Ashley Ingram, a guy who's a pretty good offensive mind in his own right, that you've given some more responsibility to take over in this case?
Well, really, our whole staff. I mean, all these guys have been together with Ivan for the last decade. Coach Judge is coaching the quarterbacks because Mike has been the closest with Ivan. I mean, every day they're together and individual. But, Coach O'Rourke, Coach Ingram, Coach Yokitis, I mean, all of them. Bryce is the only new guy over there, but the rest have been together for a decade. So our staff's been together. We've spent countless hours together as a staff. So, they know what Ivan wants. And we kind of press forward until he comes back.
As far as Ivan's work with Zach in the spring and in the summer, now he's not going to be here for a while. How does that all change the dynamic?
Well, we just keep pressing forward with the thoughts that Ivan had.
Yeah.
And right now we're not really game planning, so it's just more conceptual, to what people are doing, fundamentals. And so I've been really pleased with him so far. He's had a really good camp to this point.
I want to ask you something that we talked about on Saturday. It was interesting you mentioned it about these guys have to wear dress shoes, uniform shoes all the time, and I don't know if that had any correlation with all the foot injuries last year. Is that something you take into account or look into?
Well, we look at everything.
Yeah, right.
When you lose 5 guys in one game
and 2-on-1 play.
2-on-1 play.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost both of our slapbacks.
Yeah.
Our quarterback, and our top backup a back in Bonner, and our top blocking wide receiver, and all in one game.
Yeah.
You have to look at things, and obviously we lost guys during the year.
Right.
We don't know. We don't know if it's the shoes, but we had a huge summit amongst the training staff, weight room staff, equipment people.
Yeah.
Under Armour, we try to talk. What could it be? And somebody brought that up, and I thought it was a pretty valid point. Guys are walking around with hard-sole shoes all day, and
they're not the most comfortable shoes either. I mean, if you and I would not buy those shoes.
No, I would not buy those. I have a hard enough time wearing tennis shoes on, but they don't have arches and anything like that. And
right, they're as basic of basic shoes as you can get issued. Right.
And so, and the guys are so big and strong and fast now. All the starting and all that planning stuff. It's a lot of torque on your feet.
Do you work with Under Armour folks to kind of maybe get some?
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Under Armour has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've come and talked to us. They're designers. Their whole team, educating us so we can be better.
Right.
Educating Greg's staff, educating equipment staff, educating our players. It's been a whole process. All of us, myself, all of us had to learn better because people get hurt, but it can't be because of our negligence. We got to do the best we can and make sure that we look at everything and look under every stone.
Is that a touchy subject? Because that is one thing when you look at is that you just recently started wearing Under Armour cleats and they're relatively new to the market. And I'm sure they're resistant and saying, well, it's not our cleats, of course. I mean, is that a touchy subject when you
They've been really good, though. They've been really good, but it's, we've gone to them with, here are some of our concerns, and they've been really transparent with us. I think it's everything. It's me included, how we train.
Right. Well, like one thing that Chip mentioned, maybe as you and I have talked about, shoes break down. So you need to educate your equipment staff and players that maybe you don't wear the same cleats all season because they're comfortable.
Exactly.
Because they may not be providing the support that they're supposed to.
And those are the kind of things we had to educate. The lifespan, the life cycle of a shoe. Mm-hmm. Like I said, just because it feels good, you got to get rid of them. And so I think it was a whole process. Looking at other teams, like I said, the Ravens got rid of turf, because some of the veteran guys just said the wear and tear. And some of the studies I'm talking about with grass. Now, obviously, we don't have the money to tear up all the turf.
Yeah, right.
But we got to do what we can.
How often would you say you guys wear dress shoes or uniform shoes during a week? Is it how many hours a day?
That's part of our uniform, so we'll wear that all day up until probably after practice, depending on if you wore your uniform to the locker room or not. You could have worn running shoes there, and you could have worn that after. but that's predominantly our uniform.
I
Would it be
mean,
fair to say they're not the most comfortable shoes in the world?
I mean, to be honest, they're just shoes.
Yeah.
They're like any normal working shoe, but I guess maybe might be the difference is we just wear them so much that they wear down a lot faster. But the academy has a cobbler shop that we could utilize to repair our shoes and our soles. So,
did you ever reach a point though where your feet are kind of, because you're wearing those shoes, feel like they're a little bit stressed and
I mean, I probably feel more stressed just probably out on the field wearing cleats, and I really do that.
Yeah.
It's not like we're on them all day. We'll walk to class, and we'll just be seated the entire class and whatnot. So I mean, your feet get sore, but it's not like huge from the shoes.
With regard to the cleats, you were here early enough in your career to have still worn Nike cleats, right?
I was not. So my
You've
first
been
year
Under Armour
was
for the entire
yes.
time. So any difference? Did you wear Nike cleats in high school? I mean,
Yeah. So growing up, I was predominantly Nike. I just felt more comfortable in their shoes. But I don't know. Who knows what's the reason for the injuries? Whether it could be like the shoes we wear during the day or the cleats itself. But yeah, me personally, I wore Nike growing up. And
Are there any precautions you're going to be taking this year to avoid?
yeah. So we have. So the team in general, we have all got our feet measured and whatnot for orthotics. So I currently have
So for
orthotics
sneakers,
in my
or
shoes.
did you wear them for your dress
So
shoes too?
I have both.
Okay.
So I have some for my dress shoes and some for my cleats, which I currently have in now. And it seems to make a difference. I mean, me personally, I have a high arch, so the kind of the orthotic just kind of takes away the gap from the cleat to my arch. So I've felt a difference. I feel more secure. So
that's good.
Do you feel difference on the surfaces you play, if it's on turf or if it's on grass? Is that kind of?
I mean, I feel like no matter what type of shoe, like turf is naturally harder than grass, and you can definitely feel that. Grass is a lot more squishier in a sense,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you definitely feel a difference. But yeah.
So every day we have this new program in the training room. It's a foot activation station. It's a lot different from the last year's. So we have to like a rigorous foot warm up before we can even get taped. And if we get on the table, they ask if we've done it. If we haven't done it, we have to go back and do it. So there's just a lot more like preventative stuff going on in the training room nowadays.
Are you having orthotics too? Tyler's saying he has orthotics in his sneakers and his dress shoes. Do you? Is that something
sir.
you're doing also?
Yes, sir.
I mean, how many hours a day would you say you're in dress shoes? Obviously, it's part of a uniform, right? So.
Yeah, so from probably like 6:30 till I get back to my room maybe at like 6. So
Wow, like 12 hours.
almost,
Right?
if you cut out football.
Well, wow. And are they? I mean, would you rather be in sneakers or flip flops?
Definitely
in terms
sneakers.
of comfort level.
Mhm.
Do you think that had anything to do with the injuries, the foot injuries last year? I mean, is there a correlation maybe?
I don't know. Some of them were just freak accidents, like
Yeah.
Gonzo, Tyler, Tonio,
Right.
Will, me.
Two
like,
on the same play,
yeah.
guys. Yeah. I mean,
So like, I don't think it was too much because I mean we've been wearing the same shoes for years and it hadn't been like that. So
Yeah.
I think it was just a freak accident, but everything played into something.
Coach was saying how Under Armour came and worked with you guys and kind of listened to your concerns. How have their cleats been, and how do you kind of feel? Have you always worn Under Armour? Have you worn Nike before?
I wore Nike in high school, but
Yeah.
the whole time here I've been wearing Under Armour.
Yeah.
But these new cleats, these are great.
Okay.
We nicknamed them the working boots. So these are middle management and
Right.
Micah, Keeley, Connor Doris. They have the real working boots, the black ones. Of these.
Okay. And do you wear different cleats on game day, or do you?
I'm gonna try and wear these because these are my favorite Under Armour shoes by far.
And is there do they wear down? So do you have to have different cleats that you're not gonna wear them the whole season, or is that the kind of plan, or what's?
They don't like us running them ragged.
Yeah.
So they try and get us new shoes pretty frequently. So
Like every couple games, or
I think so.
Is that going to make a difference this year? Do you think, or do you?
I don't think so. I think we're just gonna play hard no matter what cards we're dealt,
Yeah.
and hopefully no freak injuries happen like last year.